Hello Year 8, so what your team's work is going to be for this week, it will be based on non-fiction writing and the Olympic Games. So a few things I want to run through before you start. Please be prepared to pause the video and that will give you a chance to read the information on the slides. You'll also see the pause sign on the slide that you need to pause on. Make notes, so have some paper and a pen nearby just in case you need to jot anything down. Listen again, so if you need to or you missed something, rewind and repeat the instructions if you need to. Please attempt all of the tasks, so they will help you overall with the writing task. So there is a writing task at the end, so it's important that you do as many of them as possible to help with that final piece. So task 1. Please read the following information on the Olympic Games and then answer the questions at the end. You will need to pause the video here in order to read through the information, but you can take as long as you need to. The Ancient Greek Games. So at this point you need to pause and read the slide. The Modern Olympic Games. Again, you need to pause this slide and read it. Olympic medals. Please pause the slide and read the writing. The Olympic torch and the Olympic rings. The Paralympic Games. Pause and read the information. Now, with that information that you've read about on the previous slides, you will need to answer the questions about the Olympic Games. Please use full sentences in your answers. So if we look at the bottom left-hand corner, where the red writing is, this shows you how we can do that. So use the question to help you structure your sentence. So for example, if it's when did the Olympic Games begin, we don't just want a date, we want you to use that question in your answer. So the Olympic Games began, and then you would give your answer, okay? If you need to, rewind the video and retrieve those key bits of information. Just on the right hand side here, there are some key vocabulary and their definitions. Please try and use those in your answers. So here are the questions. When did the Olympic Games begin? What were the names of the ancient Greek gods that the Olympics were held for? Name a sport that men or boys would have taken part in at the ancient Greek Olympics. How often do the modern Olympic Games take place? What do athletes who come first, second or third receive? Where does the Olympic flame travel? What colour are the Olympic rings? When do the Paralympic Games take place? Now it is time to pause the slide and it's time to write your answers. Task 3. Writing a speech. So for this activity, you will prepare a speech to argue your view on the question, should video gaming be an Olympic sport? So over the next few slides, we will break down how to prepare for your argument, and you will look at how we can structure our speech and plan it before writing it. So within this task 3, there will be 4 sections. Okay? So section 1, understanding the topic. So the question that you've been given is, should video gaming be an Olympic sport? So your top tips here. Use the information in the questions to help you write your answer. If you are not sure or even think you can't choose, think about why and explain that instead. Make a list and prioritise the skills in order of importance and think about how each skill benefits and helps us learn. Section 2. So here is somebody else's viewpoint, and it'll make you able to see it from other people's perspectives. So Emily says, I'm really good at football games. When I say I'm really good, I mean I rank high in online leagues and none of my friends can beat me. I'm not very good at playing football in PE, but I could beat most people online. I'd like an opportunity to show off my skills to the world. Video games should be considered a sport and they should feature in the Olympics. Just because it's a video game, that doesn't mean it doesn't require skill, accuracy and training in order to improve. Video games are a sport. So after reading this perspective, I want you to think, do you agree? Okay, so next to each of Emily's reasons, I want you to draw either a tick or a cross to whether you agree or not. And then make some notes as to why you agree or why you disagree. And what are your reasons? You could start your answer with something like, I agree with Emily to some extent because... So now it's time to write. Section 3. So preparing and planning. You now need to gather all of your ideas and viewpoints and put together a plan. Remember, your task is to write a formal speech to deliver to the Olympic Committee, arguing your opinion on whether video gaming should be an Olympic sport. So ideally we need 3 points to support your argument, to back it up. Okay, so create a mind map or a spider diagram or a bullet point list with your 3 main points that you will include. Okay, for an aim higher, if you are aiming high, what are your counter arguments going to be? If you look on the right hand side, here are 3 reasons that we've used as an example. Okay, so I've not just listed them, I've also explained a little bit too. So maybe consider that with your mind mapping. And now it's time to write. Some more preparing and planning for you. So we should all be aware of what the aforist features are, and I want you to try and plan some examples that you can add into your argument. So some alliteration, facts, opinions, repetition or rhetorical questions, emotion, statistics and rule of 3. Okay, so now it's time to pause and time to write. Section 4, so this is the best bit now, so writing your speech. So now you need to write your speech to argue your opinion on whether should video gaming be an Olympic sport. So use the structure guidance to help you write out your speech. The opening, remember who you are writing this for, the Olympic Committee. Write in first person. So imagine you are, like me here now, reading this out loud to your audience. Clear connectives to link your paragraphs and cram in lots of those aforist features. Make it entertaining for your audience. And remember your SPAG, spelling and grammar. Now it's time to write. I would advise spending 20 minutes, half an hour on this task. Here, if you want to pause, is your success criteria. So this will go through all of the things that we ideally need to be using in our speech. And section 5, self-assessment. The easiest way to do this is to go through your work and label where you have done things. Okay, so as an example, if this is something that I would have written, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, today I am here to talk to you about. So here I can label it and say I've used formal tone, not language you'd use with your friends. I've used a direct address, you, talking to you. And I've used first person, I am here. So we're labelling what things we have done. And I'd advise spending about 5 to 10 minutes to do this and perhaps improving things if you can. So now it's time to write and improve. Thank you everybody, and I hope you enjoyed it.